Good afternoon, my awesome friends and followers. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon in my live. I decided last night that I was going to do a little bit of live stream today, but I didn't advertise it. I have things I got to get done throughout the day, but I do appreciate you taking up, you giving up your time today. There's been a lot of things happen, isn't there? YouTube's become a platform of informative behavior, gossiping, investigative journalism, and fake news in a way, isn't it? It's a bit like watching an ordinary platform, is it not? So we've all seen that, haven't we? So where do I start? Well, thank you to those of you who have sent me emails and messages and asked me to talk about, as I call it, the writing on the wall. But it's not the writing on the wall. Let me point that out. I am seeing more gossiping happening and more rumor orientated. Now, I did tune in earlier on to HG Tutor's live stream. In fact, I received an email from HG Tutor today to ask me to pop across and have a look at what I thought. Now, if you have been watching my daily rants, you have noticed over the last few days, I have informed you of my opinion. I have told you all that as we edge towards Christmas, and YouTubers have got expensive tastes, and a lot of them want to buy big gifts for families. They're going to become more and more unhinged. The topics are going to be more unhinged. The rioting, the arguments, the infighting. Yeah, it's all to get you to watch their bullshit. Because when you watch what they're saying, they're getting the views. And many of them are getting about, let me just point this out. Many of them are getting over £5 per 1,000 views. So if they're getting 100,000 views in a video, you can see how much money they're earning per video. Do it yourself. Do the maths. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you facts. So you're going to see infighting. You're going to see trouble causing. You're going to see all the nonsense. Now, I did mention that today, that's my thought process behind this. A lot of YouTubers have run out of things to say because they think that this one's wife and the hostage, they think that the marriage is coming to an abrupt ending. Now, if that comes to an abrupt ending, you're going to see many YouTubers, channels just fail because they'll have nothing else to talk about, which HG alluded to. That is why if you're watching the body language guy, you can see him do things like Johnny Depp. He's talking about P. Diddy. He's getting different topics. He's doing all the different body language. You'll start to see YouTubers move away from this topic. But it's up to you, the viewer, to work that out. Now, many of you have sent me screenshots of verified accounts on X posting things like separation, divorce. They're posting all these things. And because they've got blue ticks, you automatically think that they're a verified source of mainstream media. Many of them are brilliant at what they do. I'll take you to the body language guy. He's very good at reading people, isn't he? I'll take you to the likes of Avid Gardner. She's very good at investigative journalism and looking between the lines. Plus, she has direct links to different people, which I'm not going to talk about. So there is people out there that have links. Now, I've noticed over the last few days, things become a little bit unhinged. And I have looked at everything that you've sent me. I haven't sat idly by and ignored it. I have paid attention. Now, whenever I go in and I decide to really delve into separation, possible divorce, there's nothing there. There is YouTube gossipers talking about it and getting clicks. A lot of royal correspondents do see these things flash up because if you have 100,000, 200,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube, then they watch it. As they watch it, it becomes a popular video and it trends. And then other royal correspondents get to see it and they look at it. But 99.9% of the time, they just ignore it, don't they? You don't see it on the mainstream media. And then you have subscribers coming off with things like, well, why is it not on the mainstream media? Well, basically because it's bullshit made up by YouTubers for clickbait. That's the fact. Right. So I delved into this possible divorce looming. And the only articles I could find on that in the mainstream media were from like First Post and from like the Hatsidan Times and Indian things. And it was just small people, small relative reporters, journalists, trying to make sense of it and trying to get you, the viewer, to watch it because it is a hot topic. Now, I'm told by many of you, Trevor, don't only talk about relative things happening, don't go back. And I'm not going to go back. But you've got to look how YouTubers look at this platform. When a YouTuber talks about Harry and Meghan, you say you don't like it, but it gets 30,000 views. Whenever a YouTuber talks about something else, they get 6,000 views. So you cannot blame YouTubers wanting to talk about a topic which relatively is earning them a lot of money, if that makes sense to you. That's why they do it. Now, I've looked into things, and I have a letter in my pocket that I'm going to show you. Now, a lot of people think that, especially on YouTube, because my subscribers, I've got a great community, which I'm thankful for, but I have different subscribers than other YouTubers, and we do try and interact, we do try and lift each other up, and we do try and do the right thing. However, I've noticed that when one YouTuber comes out with one story, another one may think about, I've done it myself to Fiona. When Fiona does a lot of research into things, I look at it, and I've done it with other YouTubers. I go, okay, that makes sense to me. Now I know about this, and it helps me put things together. So we do help each other out with investigative journalism type thing. I'm very fortunate that I do not class myself as part of any community. I class myself as an individual. I had lots of military connections. So my point of view comes from a different angle. I know many of YouTubers out there, right, do not like Meghan Markle. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Don't care. Don't care, but I'm not a fan. Other people talk about her a lot. And if they don't talk about them, I want to put this across to you. If YouTubers don't talk about them, then she gets away with her bullshittery in the mainstream media without being checked. YouTubers hold people, for example, we put it out, we lay it out, and we make sure that we let you know what we believe is going on. The mainstream media will not touch certain stories. Now, in my opinion, and without prejudice, I believe that a lot of mainstream media outlets have had gagging orders put on them. Gagging orders put on things to do with the royal family, things to do with bullying allegations, things to do with children. I honestly believe, in my own opinion, without prejudice, there's gagging orders put on certain entities so they can't talk about things. And if they do talk about it, they're liable for prosecution. So that's one of the reasons why YouTubers talk about it, because there's no gagging orders put on any of the YouTubers. Did have a slight order for a while there, if I'm honest, where I couldn't talk about certain topics. We all know that. And that's how I got around it. I would pass information to other people. But I'm going to allude you now to why I took a stand a couple of years ago. I'm going to show you. I don't even think have I shown Fiona and Graham this? I'm not sure. Or Sue Smith? I'm not sure. But I'm going to show you. A few years ago, I took a stand. And my stand I took was in 2017. So this is how long it's been going back for me. And I'm going to show you the top page here. So here we go. See the date? 2017. That's when I took my stand. When I received that letter, from Kensington Palace on behalf of Prince Harry, that's the day I took my stand. And that was to do, and I'll not divulge the letter to you, but I'll show you who it's signed by. There we go. Can you see it? That's when I took my stand, because I was trying my best to do things with veterans, trying my best. And I worked extremely hard with about a dozen different journalists, media outlets, news outlets, to get out things to help with veterans. And I received that letter, which I was at first pleased with. And then I think it was only a day or 2 days after I got that letter, I received a threatening phone call from the Royal Foundation. And that's when I decided to take my stand. Who was it signed by? It's signed by Claudia Spence. Miss Claudia Spence, MVO, the office of then the Royal Highness the Duke and Duchess and His Royal Highness Prince Henry of Wales. That's where it came from. So that's when I took my stand, and I went, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. I know what this guy's up to. He's portraying to be a veteran's friend on TV and in the media, But behind closed doors, he's not really interested. Now, I'm sure many of you right now have noticed, I hope you've noticed, that since the departure of this individual from the royal family, he hasn't donated a single penny to veterans charities. You've only got to look at that. You've only got to look at that individual. He has not. He's done Zoom calls. He's done photograph things. We've all seen he's used the Invictus Games as promoting, but we haven't seen what he's done. We're not seeing the same work which is being carried out by the likes of the Prince of Wales, are we? The work he's doing in trying to end homelessness and giving up land and putting money into projects, we're seeing a different type of thing. Now, what you did ask me, one of the questions you asked me is, Trevor, do you believe they're splitting up? No, I really don't. I believe, in my own opinion, I believe they have separated for work only. I do not believe they've separated as in they're going to separate, as you've asked me in your emails. I believe he is trying to rebuild. He's trying to rebuild his reputation. Now, what is knocking on the door? Tell me what's knocking on the door. Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day is knocking on the door. Now, what you're going to see now is an individual, right, that may, now he can't stand, he can't even turn up to the cenotaph, can he? He can't turn up the cenotaph as an ordinary person. No. He needs security. Plus, he's mentioned several times that he believes that it's dangerous, especially in London, so he can't turn up to the cenotaph. Can he go to, he might go to St. Paul's Cathedral and then whisked away somewhere, but he can't stay in a palace. He could stay in a room in Buckingham Palace. So what you're going to see now is an individual who has had to break away from his wife for the time being to try and rebuild his reputation, which I don't think it's salvageable. I really don't. At the same time, you're seeing another person in the US trying to do these different events to build her reputation. At the end of the day, the writing's on the wall. We've seen what they've done. We've seen what they're capable of. We've seen how they've mocked the royal family. We've seen how they haven't even once spoke out, posted anything on their arsewell website about cancer of dad and this and that. Oh, they haven't once spoke out. There's been no reach. But they're now trying to move their way back in because they may not need private security funded by the UK taxpayer if they're able to buy a property in Portugal, which people are looking at, aren't they? There's a lot of things going on about that. It's quite clear that that's what they want to do. And that's all down to Princess Eugenie, who told them how wonderful it was. It might be wonderful for someone like Princess Eugenie who wants a quiet life, who likes to be out of the limelight, but is it impossible for someone like a Markle to live there, who craves paparazzi, who craves the limelight? She can't walk down a street without letting someone know that she's going to be walking down a street at a certain time because it makes her feel important when cameras are there flashing. It then justifies her having security. Because if you're not letting the paparazzi know where you're going, you don't need security. No one cares. So your questions that you did send in to me was, do you think they're going to divorce? The answer is no. She would never let him go. Regardless how much his mental health declines, he seems to enjoy it. So thank you for joining me. Now you know where it all stemmed from. It all stemmed from a letter that was sent to me in 2017. And that's where I got to see the hypocrisy from an individual who only cares about himself. Anyway, listen, thanks for joining me. I don't want to keep you any longer. I mean, there's been so many live streams recently that just wanted to point out where my distaste for someone comes from. Why I don't like an individual. It's got nothing to do with this one's wife. Don't even care who she is or what she does or where she goes or how she gets there. It's nothing to do with me. I don't care. There's not people out there talking about her. But one thing is quite clear. In my opinion and without prejudice, poor Harry married his stalker. Have a great day, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. Stay safe and take care.